Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to my English class guided by me, Ma'am Srusanti. Anyway, how are you today? Hopefully you are fine and healthy. Well, dear student, today we are going to discuss about analytical exposition. It based on KD 3.4 yaitu membedakan fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan beberapa teks eksposisi analitis, lisan dan tulis dengan memberi dan meminta informasi terkait isu aktual info sesuai dengan konteks penggunanya. Tujuan pembelajaran hari ini diharapkan kalian dapat menentukan fungsi sosial dari teks analytical exposition, mengidentifikasi struktur teks tersebut, dan mengidentifikasi unsur kebahasaan dari teks analytical exposition. So, what you gonna do today? First, watch video, read some text, and discuss some questions.
Dear student, analytical exposition is a kind of text that present one side of the issue in a form of argument. Or in Bahasa Indonesia, analytical exposition merupakan sebuah teks yang memaparkan atau menjelaskan pendapat penulis akan sesuatu hal yang terjadi. Hal tersebut biasanya berupa fenomena atau isu hangat yang sedang terjadi dalam masyarakat. The purpose of analytical exposition is to convince reader about social or natural issue in society by presenting argument. This issue is really important to get attention. Jadi, tujuan dari analytical exposition ini adalah untuk meyakinkan or to persuade, membujuk pembaca dengan dihadirkan beberapa argumen. Talking about a text, it deals with generic structure, right? So, for analytical exposition, there are three kinds of generic structure. There are three generic structure of analytical exposition. Number one is thesis, number two is argument, and the last one is reiteration. In thesis, the writer introduces the topics or main idea. Thesis is always in the first paragraph of the text. Jadi tesis ini adalah topik yang akan dibahas oleh si penulis dan tesis selalu muncul atau ada di paragraf pertama. Kemudian selanjutnya arguments. Arguments ini adalah pendapat terhadap isu atau masalah yang terjadi pada saat ini. The writer presents some argument to support the main idea. In arguments, not only point, but also the writer try to elaborate some sentences to support his or her argument. Jadi, tidak hanya alasan saja atau poin-poin alasan saja yang akan dihadirkan si penulis, tetapi kalimat pendukung lainnya, misalnya fakta atau bukti, sehingga pembaca setuju terhadap pendapat si penulis. And the last one is reiteration. Reiteration restates the main idea in the first paragraph. Reiteration can be called as conclusion, atau bisa kita simpulkan reiteration ini adalah kesimpulan. Kesimpulan ini biasanya muncul di paragraf terakhir. Fungsi kesimpulan ini adalah untuk mengulangi atau mengingatkan kembali pernyataan awal yang ada di paragraf pertama. Next, about the language feature of analytical exposition text. Mostly in analytical exposition text, the sentence use simple present tense. Remember, simple present tense use verb one. Biasanya di teks analytical exposition, semua kalimatnya itu ditulis dalam bentuk kalimat present tense. Dan kata kerja yang dipakai adalah kata kerja yang pertama. And then, use evaluative language important, valuable, trustworthy. And then, use internal conjunction, first, second, third, next, further, additionally, etc. Karena biasanya pada saat menyajikan argumen, penulis biasa menggunakan kata yang pertama atau first, yang kedua second, argumen berikutnya next, dan yang terakhir adalah finally. And the last one, the language feature of analytical exposition text is use causal conjunction. For example, as a result, because, by, consequently, despite, due to, for that reason, etc. Okay, let's watch the video.
Not only is this virus highly contagious, but it is also deadly. And this is the map or the results that the Chinese have put out with regard to the pattern of disease progression in China. And there are three types of symptoms or patients: the mild, moderate, severe, and critical. And what you see from this is the patients that are severe and critical progress very rapidly to the intensive care unit and rapidly to death. This can happen as rapidly as 4,000 cases in mainland China has separated the fatality as it relates to age. And as one could see from this chart, the yellow is that greater than 80 and 70 to 79 and 60 to 69 are the predominant patients. The way this virus works is as it replicates and it becomes, overtakes this protective ACE2 receptor, fibrosis occurs, meaning scarring. And that's why 100% of these patients who have fatalities have this ground glass effect in their lungs, and there's no longer any oxygenation. The body tries to take this over. Sadly, we end up then with what we call SARS, which is severe acute respiratory syndrome, in which, in essence, it is impossible. This happens, unfortunately, not only mainly in the elderly, but also those with pre-existing conditions. And as you could see, patients with cardiovascular disease, diabetes, respiratory disease, and high blood pressure have this pre-existing conditions are prone, if they get infected, to end up with SARS. We are now learning all the way back to moderate and mild.
After you watch the video, what is the topic? What is the issue dealing with the video? Anyone? Yes, coronavirus. Do you think coronavirus is the hot issue nowadays? Apakah coronavirus sekarang merupakan trending topic pada saat ini? Yes. From the video, we can make a writing in form of analytical exposition. When the writer stated that coronavirus is truly dangerous, the writer proposed some arguments, right? Here, when the writer said that coronavirus are considered dangerous due to several reasons, it is called thesis in paragraph 1. And then, in the second paragraph or next paragraph, the writer can propose her or his argument by using the word firstly, secondly, third, next, or and so on. And in the last paragraph, of course, it is reiteration. For example, based on the argument above, it is concluded that coronavirus is truly dangerous. For the next example, it deals with the importance of language as the title. In the first paragraph, as the thesis, the writer said that learning English is very important because of some reason, right? For the second paragraph, the writer proposed her or his argument. First, English is an international language. Second, English is also the key which opens doors to scientific and technical knowledge. And the third argument, the writer said that English is a top requirement of those seeking jobs. And in the last paragraph, there is reiteration. The writer said that it is obvious that everybody needs to learn English to greet the global era. Okay, dear student, for text 3, I want you to read the text carefully and then you have to answer 4 questions dealing with the text. Okay, that's all for today. So keep in your mind that analytical exposition is kind of text that present one side of the issue in a form of argument. The purpose is to convince or to persuade the reader to agree with her or his opinion by presenting some arguments. And then for the generic structure, there are thesis, argument, and reiteration. That's all for today. Thank you very much for your good attention. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.